2 days. It's taken me 2 days of reflection to decide if I'm going to score this movie positively or not. And it's been a complete waste of time. Hi everyone, Nico Lura here from the Silver Screen Dudes, and this is my review for The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Snakes and Ladders. Now, why am I so confused? It's really as straightforward as this. There are things I really like in this movie, and there are things I just cannot get my head around. Story-wise, I'm on board. So this is set many years before the adventures of Katniss Everdeen in the original Hunger Games saga. And we essentially, what the movie wants us to buy into is how Coriolanus Snow becomes President Snow. So the premise is great. The execution left a bit to be desired. And even saying that's conflicting, because even in the execution, there are things that I liked. I cannot for the life of me put my finger on why I don't have more of a polarizing or extreme feeling, like I really like or really don't like. It might very well be that this is just one of those, it was good, and nothing more than that movies. We're at a point where the Hunger Games is still quite a fresh thing. We're still quite close to the uprisings of the various districts, but viewership is dwindling. And in steps Coriolanus Snow, who pitches some nuanced ideas on how to spice up said Hunger Games. He's got his own set of motivations of why he wants these games to do well, which we find out they're pretty good, not great. He becomes a mentor to the girl from District 12, played by the walking, talking PR disaster that is Rachel Zegler, who I thought was quite good in this movie. Listen, she's a very good actress, she's just a PR disaster. He forms a bond with her, and he realizes that physically she's not best equipped to win the games, and so he figures out ways of helping her that are a bit underhanded, despite being warned by Dean Highbottom, played by Peter Dinklage, that any interference in the games as deemed cheating means you're out. So you see where this is going. Now, if this feels like it's taken a long time for me to surmise or summarize, it's because the movie's really long. And that's its biggest negative, to be honest. It's three very clear acts. When Coriolanus is being a mentor, that's Act 1. Act 2 is the games, and it's long. Really, really long. And then you sort of get to the end of the games, which were entertaining, and you're like, oh, okay, movie's coming to an end. I guess there's going to be a follow-up to this movie. No! Here's another hour for you. Part 3, where Coriolanus is things happen to him because as a result of his cheating, and he gets pushed into one of the districts as just a grunt. Now, this is where the movie falls off a cliff for me, because you're trying to get me to believe that he's become a grunt. He's worked his way in so that he ends up in the same district as Lucy Gray. They come together, they fall out. I feel like I'm giving the whole damn movie away at this point. But the tall and short of it is where the movie leaves us is both interesting and frustrating. It's kind of like Martin Scorsese's The Aviator. For me, a great movie, but where the movie ended was just as it was starting to get really interesting. And this movie is equally guilty of this, because where it ends, just as Coriolanus Snow is starting to really come into power, that was the interesting part. Not this what felt like 3 hours. I mean, it was long, 2.5 hours of mentoring and the games, which we've seen before. And as the games go, this wasn't one of the best settings for the games, because it's obviously less advanced, because it's earlier in the timeline. But it was at the end of the third act, when he starts becoming that, dangerous, backstabbing politician, there you were like, okay, if you develop this, I may start believing that this guy becomes President Snow. But pretty much everything he does throughout the movie doesn't feel like he's becoming this ultimate evil. It almost feels like his hands being forced. So, yeah, there's an argument to be made that the fact that his hand's being forced, then evil was groomed and made involuntarily. Sure, but it didn't have that emotional resonance. It didn't have that gut punch. It didn't have that, whoa, hell, this is how he becomes the big bad. It was lacking, despite the fact that the story I thought was good. The on-screen chemistries were good. The performances were really good from people like Viola Davis, Rachel Zegler, Peter Dinklage. I can't remember who plays Coriolanus, but he was really good. There's a lot of good here, but the movie feels ultimately poorly paced, overindulgent, and a bit bloated. I'm going to score it. This is so hard. I'm going to score it 6 out of 10. I enjoyed it. I liked it, but I didn't love it. There were parts in it that were good, but it was never great. Where they're going, I don't know if we're getting more movies of this. If we are, then great, because where they ended was where it got interesting. Where we're going feels interesting. If this is where it ends, it's monumentally frustrating. I do believe, as I've said, it took way too much time to get to the point, which was how snow becomes snow. And the devices by which he becomes snow really left me wanting. So over to you guys. What did you think of Snakes and Ladders, the new Hunger Games movie? Did you like it? Did you not? As always, leave your thoughts and your comments down below. Please do like the video if you haven't done so already. There should be another video for you guys to watch. I'll put a subscribe button right here by my open packet of Haribo. But yeah, guys, I want to hear what you thought of the Hunger Games. It's good, but not great. Comment down below, and I'll see you on the next video.